This is pretty interesting. This is a catastrophic failure by the tent out there, by the medical team over at Joint Base Lewis-McChord, JBLM. I just can't wait to see the comments from this one. I cannot wait to see the comments from this one. You guys ready for the razzle dazzle? At least 3 people, but allegedly way more, were wrongly given the COVID shot at a military base. They were tricked into getting the COVID vaccine. This is no joke. Listen to this one. At least 3 people, this is crazy, and potentially more, were wrongly given COVID-19 vaccine shots instead of an entirely different vaccine at Lewis-Maine Exchange at Joint Base Lewis-McChord in Tacoma, Washington, reports first revealed this week. My head exploded. The U.S. Army is currently investigating the incident. In an emailed statement to Army Times on Tuesday, First Corps Public Affairs Colonel Joey Sullinger told Army Times, Joint Base Lewis-McChord is aware 3 people were inadvertently administered the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine instead of another vaccine at the Lewis-Maine Exchange. You go in for a flu shot or whatever, and they just be jabbing you with the COVID vaccine? Are you joking? This is incredible. Positive corrective action has been taken at this vaccination site to prevent such errors from happening again. This is a collapse of every step of a medical process here. This is not confirming your patient. This is not confirming what they're there for. This is not confirming what you're holding in your hand when you're about to stick them with. You're not reading your labels. You're not using the right fridge. Why were these vaccines even next to each other at a makeshift tent at the exchange? I understand at hospitals, vaccines and shots and common things are kept in, coolers or fridges, where they're commonly accessible. But why even mess with this at the exchange where you've got hundreds of people dilly-dallying in and around, and now it's this huge conspiracy of whether or not they were trying to get people, the jab, the Fauci-ouchie, whatever you want to call it. This is terrible for credibility. This is the type of thing that wipes credibility clean off the chalkboard and gets the conspiracy people going. And even I kind of wonder, how did this happen? If you guys, and the reason I say that, not to be, out of left field here, but do you guys remember the doctors who were like sabotaging the COVID vaccines, taking them out of the cooler, expiring them, hiding them, all this stuff? Maybe this was an inside job. Maybe it was. I could see somebody taking these shots and doing this if they were like an anti-vaxxer, right? And they wanted to do this to shut down the vaccine program. They're like, if I do this, they're going to have to shut down the program. Nobody will trust vaccines after I do this. I could really see that. The Army has not released the identities of the people involved, including the 3 people it determined had been incorrectly given the COVID-19 vaccine shot. While Sullinger put the number of people wrongly given the Pfizer version of the COVID-19 vaccine at 3 people, the true number may be higher. On Tuesday, the military social media profile Terminal CWO, which regularly publishes whistleblower allegations from within the active military community, tweeted, JBLM had a flu shot tent set up and injected a lot of people with the COVID vaccine accidentally, according to a reliable source. So now we're not only incapable of distinguishing between FDA approved and EUA, but apparently we can't even get the correct drug either. Army Times noted the Terminal CWO was the first to report the base's wrongful administering of the COVID vaccine shots, but reported that representatives for the accounts have not shared their sourcing for the claim, but it's been confirmed. Terminal CWO's comment about FDA and EUA appears to refer to a contention that while the FDA has granted approval to Pfizer's Comirnaty vaccine, that vaccine is distinct from the unnamed Pfizer BioNTech vaccine that has been available for nearly a year under an emergency use authorization. I don't know that much about that, so I'm not going to get into that. That issue is at the heart of at least one lawsuit filed on behalf of 18 U.S. service members. The Comirnaty vaccine is not available in the U.S., and because the military's vaccine mandates specifically call for service members to receive FDA-approved vaccine doses, those service members cannot be compelled to take the vaccine as mandated by the military. Now, when I read this earlier, I have not dug into this, but that does sound interesting to me. That the vaccine that the military is telling people they have to take, or they're going to punish them, kick them out, demote them in rank, take away their tridents, all this other stuff, is actually not FDA approved. I'm going to have to look into this a little bit more. The incident of the incorrect vaccine shots being administered at JBLM comes as each military branch's respective COVID-19 vaccination deadlines are approaching. The Army's deadline is December 15th. Active sailors and Marines must be fully vaccinated by November 28th, while active Air Force airmen must be fully vaccinated by November 2nd. This is pretty interesting, you guys. This is pretty interesting. This is a catastrophic failure by the tent out there, by the medical team over at Joint Base Lewis-Mcchord, JBLM. I'm shocked. I'm shocked by this one. I say I'm shocked a lot on this show, and it's true, but that's really bad. I mean, could you imagine being somebody who is already vaccinated, like you just got your second shot or something like that, and you go in and they just give you another COVID shot for no reason? Or you're like not anti-vax, but you have not made the choice yet on whether or not you want to get the vaccine, and then they just give it to you, and now you got to live with that thing being in you and the side effects, feeling bad the next day or whatever it is, and then you have your own doubts about the safety and efficacy of it. Then, not even considering the fact that there's a whole process of screening people to see if they should be vaccinated or not. They have to do the whole thing. Have you ever had a, allergic reaction to some vaccine? Have you already had the part 1? Do you need the part 2? Have you already had the part 2? How many days in between vaccines? Have you traveled recently? All this stuff. Which means that they just wrongly injected random medicine into people. And I say random because theoretically, and I say random, and here's why I say random. Theoretically, if they thought they were giving someone the flu vaccine and they gave them the COVID vaccine and it wasn't intentional, that could have been anything. That means that could have been anything, and they're just not paying attention. Thank goodness if this is just an accident that all they grabbed was the COVID vaccine and not, hydrochloric acid. If they're not paying attention to where they're getting the medicine from in the needles, then it could have been anything. Just get 2 grams of anthrax. Why not? How crazy is that? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think about that? I'm not even going to say a specific question here. Just what do you think about that? Leave me a comment on that. How crazy is that? What's up, guys? Thanks for watching that clip from our live show. We're live right here on YouTube, Sunday through Thursday, 1800 Pacific Standard Time. If you want, come on by, join the chat. I'd love to hear from you. If you like that video and you want to see more, consider checking out this video right here or subscribing to the channel with this button right here. I look forward to talking to you really soon. I'm out for now.